This podcast is part of E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. David Housel said it best, the whole of the Auburn experience. It incorporates so many different things, places, and people, but at its core, it's all about our sports, it's all about our culture, and it's all about our family. And seeing how this is the Auburn family and a show dedicated towards that, you must have an Auburn family member alongside myself, your host, Kyle Loomis, to talk about all these things. And so I brought him back once again, my friend, your co-host, Mr. Austin Scott. What's going on, sir? War Eagle.
War Eagle Kyle, you are one of my favorite Auburn family members, so
What do you want?
I'm happy to be here.
What do you want? What do you want?
Nothing. I'm happy to be here with you again. I really thought tonight was episode 20, so I was going to say, wow,
God.
We've made it to whole 20, but it's not. No, you're right.
I was about to say,
head.
Do not panic on me here. Do you know how quickly people on social media will call you out for something, like when you get it wrong or you forget to number something right, or if you misspell something? I had somebody, I forget what tweet it was from the E2C Network account the other day. It was some minor little mistake, and I'm like, okay, grammar person, like, really chill out. So
the grammar police are some of the most ruthless, so you better double check.
Oh gosh, they are out there, man. They are the Karens of social media. Let's just be honest. On that slight tangent and note, did you remember when Karen became a popular thing during the pandemic?
Oh yeah,
but do you remember the male version of that was started?
No.
Kyle was
it?
It started. I ran a meeting with all the Kyles around the world, and we kind of squashed that. So I'm safe for now. There are many other
people knew you, and if you were the antithesis of a Karen version or male Karen.
I mean, I could probably be a male Karen if I wanted to be, and embody that being the Kyle or whatever. Anyway, so that just popped into my head right there. All right, so we start off the show, our first little segment. Just, I don't know why I'm calling it Auburn potpourri right now. Whatever's on our mind. We'll get it to our two bigger topics around basketball and some Auburn food. I love talking about Auburn food, so I cannot wait till we get to talking about that tonight. Austin, I'm going to pitch it over to you. What's on your mind right now that's not related to those other things?
Sure. Yeah, we were talking a little pre-show. School's back in session. That's always a big deal around here for us residents.
And so stop it. You just listen. You can't do it that way every time. I'm trying to get over there, but it's just not working out.
Well, the influx of students back is always a little change to the lifestyle. The summer being the big one, but everybody's back from holiday break. So you notice that a little bit. The portal recruiting keeps going, doesn't it? It's busy and ramped up and in full force. I think it'll start to slow down here now that school is starting at most places around the country. We'll get at least a break for a little while. And then I think last week I opened our Auburn potpourri section with gymnastics, and it was a lot of fun watching the girls down in Gainesville. Couldn't pull out the win, but still some rough around the edges parts that are going to get refined. Really bad draw to get Florida in your second week. Really first week of like one-on-one regular season play.
And you can't see him. I'm repping the shirt tonight.
You do. Nice. And so it's kind of tough luck, and to go down there in such a hostile environment. I mean, every time the Florida Gators pulled out a 10, we've got a girl on the beam or a girl on the bars, and the place goes crazy, which, rightfully so. It'd be the same way at Auburn, but tough draw for the first week. Really excited that they're at home this Friday. Cannot wait to go and get back into Auburn gymnastics with a Ben's pretzel in hand, ready to go.
Is it Justin Ferguson that always talks about that on social media? I think
he? Yeah.
One of the beat writers always talks about maybe it's not Ben's pretzels, but one of the pretzel things that you can get at the games at the Neville Arena. I almost said Auburn Arena. Listen, I was trying to find a way to work this in. Anytime that you mention nonchalantly that you're a resident, this is what I'm going to give you from now on.
Move this man!
Every time you do that.
Pure jealousy. Everybody wants to be an Auburn resident. It's just out of pure jealousy.
I'm going to give it to you every single time now. What's on my mind? I'm going to talk about something that's unpopular. Just let's get it out of the way. It's getting kind of rough. And that's kind of ironic too, that I just said rough. Watching our rivals have success on the football, just let's acknowledge that Georgia won the national championship, repeat again. Alabama's been a repeat, and they've obviously been a dynasty. I
blotted that out of my mind that was this week, Kyle. I didn't even remember that until you brought it up.
Listen, you're not a resident of Georgia. I'm a resident of Georgia. This is how I feel. When I realized that I'm a Georgia resident. I probably pulled that away a little too quickly. That was Iron Man just giving the sigh. That one doesn't play as well over the audio. On the visual side of things, it plays better. I didn't watch the game. I could have watched this one, but I told myself I can never watch Alabama play in a national championship again because there's nothing good that comes out of it for me. Either I become very nasty towards them as they lose, or I, have to suffer and watch them win another one. So it's kind of evolving to that with Georgia now. Frankly, it's like it doesn't exist to me if I don't watch it. So, I don't know if that makes
that might have worked with Alabama, but like you said, now you live there, and it's going to exist quite a bit around you now.
Yeah, it is. I realized it was over. Well, it was over from the start. Let's be honest. Poor little TCU.
I'm not a big. I've never been a big SEC guy. Those are our direct competitors outside of Alabama and Georgia. Whether it's, I don't care who it is. I'm never been a big. But I mean, that kind of showing is hard not to say. Well, yeah. What am I supposed to say? Like, there's no case that I can make and say, the refs gave it to him.
What am I supposed to do with this? Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to sit there and take it and like it. I don't like it, but they expect me to like it, and I don't. So just be thankful, Mr. Resident, that you don't have to live in a state where grown men bark for a living, or just as
for a living,
or for a form of communicating. I mean, that's actually goes on here. So there are some good things about the state of Georgia, but that is not one of them. Thankfully, we live outside of Atlanta, so there's a good contingent of Georgia Tech fans up here alongside. There's a good amount of Auburn people up where I live too. It's a very industrial engineering heavy area up in this vicinity of north-ish Atlanta. I won't give the exact location where I am, so people can't come find me. But there's a lot of Auburn and Georgia Tech people, but there's still a lot of dogs. It's not fun, man. It is not fun to live up here.
Where there's not a lot of dogs.
Yeah, shut. Don't make me do it. Don't make me play it again, Austin. Okay, I've already gotten. I told you last week that I was going to use that a lot. And I need to pick it sparingly from now on. So real quick, I want to plug, since it is somewhat Auburn related, this week. Make sure I have the numbers right in my head. Today's the 15th. Yes, the 17th is our 9-year anniversary as a network. What began as the Ever to Conquer podcast way back in the day with Ben King and Tristan Madden. You don't even know Tristan. That's so far gone. Has evolved into this. So we're not going to have anything super planned this year. I've got a little bit of a reveal I'm probably going to make that day about something that's coming back for the network. So maybe you stay tuned on social media, and we're going to have a little reveal for that. And I think you'll love it, especially if you love this podcast, this show, audio form, however you get it out there. It's kind of in the same vein. Obviously, a lot about sports, but it's more about the whole of the Auburn experience, which is what we love to talk about here. Let's talk about a big topic here right now. And as we move further and further away from fall and football season and are firmly entrenched in winter, we're going to be focusing a lot on this basketball team, specifically the men's basketball team. The women's basketball team, they got in the SEC play and they're having a little bit of struggles to get some wins. They have not had an easy schedule, mind you. It's not for lack of trying. They had a great non-conference start, but man, You're going up against the likes of South Carolina, LSU. Can't remember whoever else they played, but it is tough to get a any win in the SEC women's basketball wise. But men's basketball is also fully entrenched in their SEC schedule. And it has been interesting to watch. So not even like on an Auburn related note, I guess
Right.
we'll bring it back to that. But your thoughts on like what's been going on in the SEC basketball right now? We're like what, 5 games in? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think that's right. 5 games in, and you said it a minute ago, the overall theme, it's hard to win in this league, and then you take it a step further, it's hard to win on the road. Auburn's only, correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle. No, they have 1 road win and 1 road loss, and the rest are home wins in the
Right.
SEC
That is
schedule.
correct.
But we're coming off a weekend where yesterday we saw Kentucky, who is not the Kentucky as of old currently. They're struggling a little bit. Go
Can
into
I
a
ask
top.
an unpopular question though? Is it because the league's gotten better or Kentucky's dropped? Which one of those is it more of?
Both. I also think Kentucky's head coach is on his downturn.
We can only hope, right?
The job has passed him by a little bit. But to your point, the league is, and Bruce Pearl has talked about it numerous times, the league is as deep as it's been in years, decades. And so for Kentucky, who's in a middle of the pack SEC team right now, to go on the road to a top 5 Tennessee and win, and then you have Vanderbilt welcome Arkansas in their crazy arena and take them down in 2 competitive games. Like neither of them were flukes by any means, but just played whistle to whistle and played hard. It's just amazing what the SEC has become, and even more encouraging when you see Auburn kind of finding their footing now after that loss to Georgia.
Yeah.
We wondered, where are they? Where's this team? Is this going to be a rebuilding year? What is it? They go on the road, like we just mentioned, how hard it is to win. They go on the road to a place that they've had trouble at the Pavilion at Ole Miss, win. They have Arkansas coming into town, win. And then they remind me, Mississippi State comes into town with a new coach.
I'll be honest with you, I am more impressed with that Mississippi State team than I thought I would be. I saw what they did non-conference, how they were one of the few teams that lasted undefeated wise for longer than Auburn. Right? Did I have that correct?
Yeah.
I think yeah. And I haven't looked at their non-conference schedule to really, because frankly I don't care, but just to dive into whether that's a legitimate, like that should be that impressive. But still, you went undefeated. That's hard to do in basketball.
Absolutely. Hard to win games, period. And
right.
And so, I know Mississippi State could not shoot a 3 ball in the ocean to save their life yesterday. But
0.
Auburn found a way. I think it was 0 for 18, which
Never
Auburn has held them to before.
I thought I had never seen that, and then someone pointed that out earlier. That's insane to me that not only does one team does that before, but they do it twice, but they also do it against the same opponent. That's just weird. That only happens to Auburn.
And just there was some great defense, and that's how we've talked about. That's how this team's gonna have to win games. They had wide open threes. They just can't hit. And I don't know if it's just, and I feel like it has to be a mental thing at this point for State with the things they've struggled with for a consistent amount of time with the 3 ball. But impressive win for Auburn, and they've got some momentum. They're now going down to Baton Rouge in a midweek matchup, who lost by like 40 something points yesterday. So Auburn's got some momentum, and it's good to see different players step up. Yesterday, it was Jalen Williams, who started as hot as you could start and had a 20-plus point game. That's what Auburn needs is someone to pick up the mantle every night. And it doesn't have to be the same person, but someone pick up the mantle every night and will this team to a win. And so far, they're doing it.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch the trajectory in such a short span of the SEC schedule so far. It's interesting to see a game loss like that Georgia one, perception-wise, beyond the record now,
Yeah.
And then you handle Arkansas, you handle the Mississippi State Challenge, you handle the Ole Miss Challenge. So it's been weird watching Auburn, the collective, the fan base collective, wrestle with this, because we went from literally where I had to do a live stream one morning just trying to like, hey, everybody chill, just relax on this team. We were just starting this thing. Like, was I disappointed about the Georgia loss? Yes. But I knew that this team had not reached its full potential yet. And this, mind you, is while Chris Moore's down, who's been a mainstay, a part of this. This isn't just a guy that's starting just because it makes sense to start him there. He's actually contributing in a lot of ways. He's had some, pretty good statistical games, a few nights as a starter. And I would argue too that we have what I think is one of the more solid starting groups that we've had in quite some time. And I'm counting Walker and Jabari in that. And that's saying something, because we knew what we had with them out there on the floor together to start the game, right? It's obvious at this point what advantage they give you. It's also how inept we looked when they had off nights. Go back to how we ended the NCAA tournament run. But every one of those guys that starts on a normal night, Alan Flanagan got to start last night, obviously, they provide something that gets us off to a good footing. Whether it's offensive wise, defensive wise, calming the floor down. I really like where this team's at right now, because I don't think they have peaked yet, but I also like that we kind of correct every time we've had a drop off this season, non-conference and SEC play. I'll point back to the USC game and now the Georgia game. We've responded. And that's what you got to have out of a basketball team. Long season still to go, but so far the adversity has been met with great responses.
Yeah. And, well, it speaks to the veterans on the team. Very experienced team. Trey Donaldson, Chance Westry, I think are your only two freshmen. And so you've just got a lot of experience minutes on this. Newcomers, sure, and Janai Broom, and guys who have played before and played in big time games. But all these guys have played meaningful basketball and know what it takes to win on a regular basis. And it's just going to have to be that kind of year. It's not going to be, the flashy 3-point barrage and that we've been used to in the last half decade, but a different way for Auburn teams to win, and they're doing it. That's what matters the most. They're winning. And so as long as they keep winning, right, I don't care how it looks.
Well, that's the thing I think that a lot of people at Auburn are wrestling with right now, is we know that Auburn wins this way. And that's shooting threes, run and gun. And that's not working right now, because this is a team that's offensively not as consistent, not as good as shooting the ball. So they got to find other ways to win. And frankly, it's pretty refreshing, because it's something new. It shows that Bruce Curl can do more than just one thing. And that's what some of the criticisms coming. It was like, oh, they lost to Georgia. Bruce will, it's kind of the same things that come out when a coach, he doesn't make adjustments. But I feel like there's these phrases that not just Auburn fans, but because we're focused on the Auburn perspective, things that we go to, oh, they don't make adjustments. And in some of that, there is some truth in that sometimes. Football there might have been. But my biggest thing for Auburn fans right now, enjoy this right now. It's a nice little run that we're on. SEC is going to be tough the whole season. We've watched Kentucky fall. The only ones right now that don't seem to be struggling is, I hate to admit it, Alabama. But, we can have our say with that coming up here, not too far in the distant future, because, yes, it's a long season, but it'll be over before you know it. This is mid-January.
Yep.
March is going to be here real quick.
Absolutely. It does not take long. And once you get to that point, everything speeds up for everybody else. So
I'm looking forward to it.
Well said, Kyle. And it's a blast. And I think more than anything, you said Coach Bruce Pearl is proving more with this team than I think with a lottery pick and another first round pick in Walker Kessler, that he's a top 10 coach in the country, because he's getting out of his guys what they're best at, and it's still producing results. And so I can never not forget what Auburn basketball was before Bruce Pearl. And so therefore it wins in the SEC. I don't care how they come by. I'll take them.
Exactly. I mean, it is going to be a knockdown, drag out year in the SEC. Yes, as I said, Alabama looks like they've got a hold on it right now, but that's just for now, because people were counting Auburn out after that Georgia loss, and we've responded. So buckle up, folks. Basketball is fully in swing in the SEC, and it's only going to get more interesting, more frustrating, but also more fun at the same time as we march on to March. Oh, look at there. There's a little pun for you at the end of that segment. All right, let's talk about this for our final segment tonight. We always like to throw some stuff, interesting things at you. And when I saw this news come this week, I got so excited. And honestly, I didn't even think about us talking about this until a little bit later in the week, but I love me some Auburn food. Auburn, to me, one of the underutilized and not talked about enough points of Auburn is its food. And I haven't even been to some of these great places that people still rave about. Would it shock you to know I have never been to Amsterdam's? Like,
that does surprise me.
I have my go-tos and I go to them. That's really what it is. But that's the Opelika area too. You know, the surrounding areas. There's some places like, I think it's Waverly that I've been to. Some little mom and, it may not be open anymore out there, that I've had some good food at. I mean, it was one of the best home cooked meals that it was in a restaurant, but you get the point. So the news this week, Niffers, and this is, I guess, free advertising for you, Niffers, so you're welcome. Niffers is running a contest to create another menu item. Now, most people are just, and I want to be clear on this, saying a new burger, because that's what they're known for, their burger nights. And yes, it can be that, but they're creating a menu item to commemorate, to celebrate, to honor all that Cadillac Williams has done as a player, obviously this year as a coach, and what he continues to do for us as an Auburn family. And Niffers, if you ever wanted me to love you anymore, do this. Like that. I saw this come across and I was like, I don't think my heart could have grown 3 more sizes for Niffers. And it has, because you've combined one of my favorite places to eat in Auburn with one of my favorite players. The favorite player that I have as a person and as an athlete. So that's the news. They're allowing fans, I think it's till the 31st of January,
I think so,
to submit your concoction and a name with it. They're calling it the Cadillac contest, I guess is what it's called for now. So you can call it the Cadillac, but I would imagine they want a little bit more creativity with that. So I thought it'd be fun, Austin. Let's talk about it. Maybe we can come up with a winning combination here. Maybe we'll even submit it. I don't know. You, sir, should we tackle this from getting a name first, or should we let the food inform the name? How do you think we should tackle this?
I think that's a good question.
I could go either way.
Yeah, I think that the name, a lot of people are going to go with something to the lines of the crazy and go crazy. I think that's just natural. And I love that. I'm not saying that's not unoriginal. I think that's great. That's Auburn people would love to see that printed on a menu.
Yes. I will be there to buy it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another point of this. Like, I don't really care what this is. I'm going to try it.
Yes.
Like,
they've already won.
Is there anything other than go crazy in a name that you may have thought of?
Yes. This is probably so it's going to be stolen now, but not that it's all that great, but I thought of doing the Cadillac, and then so you write out Caddy and then put lac next to it, but it's capitalized, and that's your big 3 ingredients. Now, what those ingredients are, I haven't necessarily Jessica and I, my wife, we're on a walk this week after this.
Is this a sandwich?
It is a sandwich, but it doesn't have to be. That. This is a menu item, but I think most people, if you want it to be, it's going to be a success, like you said. It's got to be some type of burger, sandwich, something along those lines. But I personally, it doesn't have to be, but I kind of want it to be something different from a burger.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think that there's a lot of burgers, and they're all really good. I really like the LAC. I'm trying to think of.
So if you want to go along that lines, what would be some of the ingredients that you'd throw on there? That could 3 individual things. LAC, the Cadillac.
The easiest. The L is tough. The first thing that popped in my mind was lettuce.
Right, but
that's like BLT. I think that's why.
Hey, lime cilantro.
Oh, there you go.
I know that.
Like dressing?
Yeah, like a lime something on it. I don't know what's throwing that on there. That just literally popped into my head right now. This is brainstorming 101 right here. This is a workshop.
Yeah, right. What in the world goes?
I got some. Okay. We did talk about this. Jessica and myself talked about this with Applewood smoked bacon.
Okay. All right.
So Just something.
So
It doesn't have to be that.
okay, Cadillac with lime cilantro dressing and applewood smoked bacon.
That's
And
not the main, obviously, meat or protein on it, but it has that applewood smoked bacon with it. Still
right. Well,
making sense.
maybe this is like a you choose your meat, and then these are the things that go
Ooh,
on it.
oh,
Like you could get some turkey, and I'm thinking C. I'm not very original, but I think C is in cheese, whether it's
yeah.
cheddar cheese or Colby Jack cheese or
Colby Jack
something.
with that.
It needs to be something crazy. But
Ooh.
I think with turkey, you could do this with turkey, a burger, or ham. Whatever. Um, Man, I like that a lot. I think that people would be drawn to seeing it written out like that.
Yeah, I think that name obviously is very obvious, but it kind of plays off of that. Like, is there any other names of something that he's associated with other than Go Crazy, other than Cadillac, that or something that we could play off of those two that he's done? Um, I'm trying to think. Because there's everybody's got their signature thing. Like Bo's got Bo over the top,
Sure.
or
I mean, I think you could do something with maybe it's a burger, and maybe it's like 2 pounds and 4 ounce burger. And then it's the 2-4 burger.
I like that a lot.
And so then you
I
don't
like that.
have it's not as much as the name like
Right.
cattle, but everyone would know that's who it
The
is.
2-4, you call it the 2-4,
The
or
2-4.
the 20. How many menu items do they have? Because that would be the perfect. If they had 23 menu items,
Yeah.
you just call it the 24th.
The
Like
24th. Yeah. That could be an option. I'll tell you what Emily and I came up with is because we were the same with you. We were trying to think of something non-burger and non-sandwich because they did say menu item.
yeah.
And a little peek behind the curtain here. One of my favorite things is a crunch wrap from Taco Bell. And so
Austin, you have just won brownie points with me. So, like, do you know what my tradition is after an Auburn football game?
you go get you a crunch wrap?
I don't care what it is. I go to Taco Bell.
Oh yeah.
Jessica is probably going to come running through this door because she heard me say Taco Bell. She's like, "You talking about Taco Bell?" Oh, is it locked? It is locked. Sorry.
But a go crazy crunch wrap, I think would be different.
I don't hate that
for the menu. And the name can be workshopped. And then I was thinking, what else? What would be something unique on it? Caddy's from Gadsden, Alabama. Good barbecues in Gadsden, Alabama. We could have some brisket on there. And then I saw this a brisket crunch wrap. And I saw this as a first response kind of on the Niffers page. So I am stealing a little bit from someone.
There's going to be so many repeats though, so don't worry about it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Someone said, and I think theirs was a burger, but they said the Cadillac Mac, and they had mac and cheese on the burger. And I was like, we should put brisket and mac and cheese in a crunch wrap and I mean, brisket and mac and cheese is a home cooked meal that you can find in Gadsden, Alabama. So I think the Caddy crunch wrap or the Go Crazy crunch wrap, whatever, would be very different. I mean, it's basically a giant quesadilla, right? But it would be very different than what's
Austin. I mean, I don't know. Take a bow. My goodness.
I have to give credit to my wife. She did come up with crunch wrap, but it was a team effort here at Scott their table. But I think it'd be good.
Oh, man, I love mac and cheese and barbecue together. Like it's one of those things that kind of is a little odd, but I'll pull the curtain back for me. I'm a big Disney World guy. My wife and I go all the time. We're actually going very soon. They have, I think, kind of perfected the barbecue and macaroni and cheese combo type of thing with a lot of different ways there. God, I gotta go get something. I'm so excited now that I'm going to be going there to get some of that.
I think I had that it's in America in Epcot, right?
Yeah, that's one of the places where you can get that. There's, like I said, they've done it in several different ways. But you know what? I was thinking about some type of mac and cheese situation for this. I just couldn't get my head around it. But it's not bad, sir. I like that you tied. See, I think that's what's going to be missing for some people in this contest. It's easy to go with the Cadillac stuff, but if you can take that extra step and find something that's really near and dear to him, or connected to his what's the word I'm looking for?
Something about
History,
him, yeah, outside of
The
football.
Gadsden situation, I really like there as well. Let me here, it's marketing. We're just giving free advertising
Oh,
and
yeah.
free stuff to Niffers, and I don't care because I love them for this so much. Always near. I don't think they could do anything wrong at this point to me.
Oh, no way.
In the description, serve and believe the best sandwich in the world. Something you put serve and
Yeah,
believe in like caps at the very beginning of the description of this on the menu, and I'm just like, can I buy all of these for the eternity now? Like,
absolutely.
oh man. Okay, so
I
now I'm
can't
hungry.
wait to see. I don't know if they've said they're gonna do this, but I hope that we see, like, some of the final options and maybe Coach Cadillac can have his say and kinda what he likes, and,
Oh, they better.
but I would love to see the options and what's kinda been created because, if you and I can come up with Go Crazy Crunchwrap and the Cadillac, surely some other creative people come up with something better.
I'm much more a fan of that crunch wrap situation now, though, than mine. So we'll continue to workshop it on our own, go ahead and submit our own things. But maybe that helps some of you out to go in there and
That's
participate.
right.
Niffers is a great restaurant in Auburn, so anytime you can support them, please do so. And go get yourself some good food there. I hope they still do
Mhm.
burger night. They
Oh,
have some
yeah.
really good burgers there. So now I've got to go back as soon as I can get an opportunity to now, just to sit in that great, wonderful place. And they've got a couple other locations too. I think Lake Martin and
Mhm.
one other place I can't think of right now. But either way, go check them out if you can and participate and support a great Auburn food location. That's going to do it for our show today. I hope you guys enjoyed the discussion about sports, culture, and family here on the Auburn Experience podcast. On our way out, you can find me on Twitter at Kyle Loomis, not Limus. Kyle Loomis 24. Where can they find you, Austin?
Austin G. Scott, send me your own submissions, and I'll be following this Niffer's Place contest here pretty closely. So let's follow it together.
We'll have a follow-up probably at
Yes.
some point on an episode very, very soon. Appreciate you guys listening to the Auburn Experience podcast today. Until we talk to you again, War Eagle.
War Eagle.